What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to show it to you right now. This is the new album from the band Eternal Rot, entitled Grieving Birth. This is released on Iron Lung Records, 625 Thrashcore. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of Melbourne, Australia. And the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very traditional, fast, aggressive style of grindcore. Yeah. I haven't heard too much stuff from Eternal Rot, to be honest with you, but the stuff I have heard from this band is absolutely awesome. My first introductions to this band was their 2011 self-titled debut EP and their 2014 full-length Mental Hygiene. Really, really good, straight-to-the-point grindcore. I loved how fast and aggressive the music was. I loved the guttural vocals. I loved the great nasty riffs. I loved the drumming. Just a complete total package when it came to this band style and presentation. And of course, another thing I listened to was their 2015 split with Mellow Harsher. Really, really good stuff on both ends, but honestly, I preferred Eternal Rot's side the most. But anyways, it's been a while since we had heard music from Eternal Rot as far as like new stuff is concerned. But going into 2020, Eternal Rot are back, and we have a second full-length from them entitled Grieving Birth. It's 22 tracks, and it clocks in at around 23 minutes in length, so that's a grindcore appropriate album length, I would say, and it's a lot shorter than their first album. So I like that this time around they're going for a less is more sort of approach this time. But upon going into this album, you are strapping yourself in for some absolutely sensational grindcore material here, because I definitely think this is leaps and bounds better than Mental Hygiene, and there's definitely a much stronger impact and stronger connection upon listening to this album and going along with what's happening here. This is some really sensational stuff here, and what makes this album so sensational is the fact that it just knee-jerks you from one song to the next in getting you prepared for what's eventually going to happen the next time. It's just really top-notch stuff, and there's a lot of great guitar playing going on throughout this entire album. It's just non-stop, ravenous, in-your-face, with the riffs. It's just fantastic. Throughout the first half of this record, you're just thrown for a loop with all of these crazy, crazy riffs going on here. It's very awesome. I mean, listening to songs like Transmission, Grim Magnetic, Chronic Bedlam, Failed Organum, just some really, really great riffs going on with all these songs that happen to go on for these really short bursts. Like, a lot of the songs range from around 2 minutes to around 30 seconds in length, so it's standard fare grindcore song length going on here, but these guys do it so well here. And these riffs are just so awesome. I mean, later on this album with songs like Axelrod's Revenge, Gorge on Abuse, Deep Pleasure, it's just sensational to hear this guy play the guitar the way that he does, and I think it's really fantastic. A lot of great killer riffs to be heard throughout this entire album. When it comes to the drumming, this guy is what I would consider to be the MVP of this band, because he's involved in so many different projects outside of Eternal Rot. I believe he's also the drummer of bands such as Contaminated, Headless Death, Incinerated, Rawhead, ESP Mayhem. Absolutely crazy, crazy bands this guy is involved in. He is such an MVP for having the stamina and the will to play in all of these crazy fucking bands. But here on Eternal Rot, he delivers another fantastic drum performance going on here. Everything is done at a breakneck speed, very natural, very enticing, very powerful sounding stuff. I love the relentless blast beats. I love the snare pop. I love the fills. I just love the energy that this guy brings with the drum performance, and it's really awesome to listen to. And when it comes to the vocals, I love the vocals here on this album. Very guttural, very primal, very raw. I definitely like the approach that he's going for here. I'm definitely getting some Rahi Insect Warfare vibes going on here with this vocal performance, and I think it's really, really awesome to hear him be the commandeer of this album with his vocal style, his vocal bursts, and just overall weaves such great stories, whether he's growling, whether he's screaming. He definitely has a wide range of emotions going on here with this album, and it makes for some very, very intriguing and entertaining stuff. So overall, if you're into grindcore, if you're into anything Internal Rot has done in the past, this is definitely some of their best material to date. It's a very breakneck speed, very entertaining, very intriguing, and this album definitely has a flair for the dramatic, and I love it. So definitely one of the best grindcore releases of 2020 for sure. If I had to think of any personal favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say Transmission, Grim Magnetic, Harpooned, Eaten by Crabs is another great track, I should say. Orbiting Flesh, Judas Chair, Gorge on Abuse. Just a lot of great stuff going on here, and it flies by so perfectly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave you some links in the description box as to how you can get a hold of this album and listen to it. I will leave you a link to the Iron Lung Records Bandcamp page where you can listen to this album in its entirety, hear it for yourself, and be your own judge as to whether you think it's worthy of being purchased or not. You can stream it, buy it digitally, and is available physically in a wide multitude of physical formats. Blast as Fuck Grindcore put out the CD version. Head Split Records is doing the tape version. And what I have in my hands here is the vinyl version put out through both Iron Lung Records and 625 Thrashcore. Love this album cover. I believe this is from a movie called Red Riding. And I love that they have this image here. It's kind of ambiguous. You don't know how she's feeling or what she's feeling or what's going on here. I love that. Back cover here with track listing and credits. Comes with this pretty cool fold out of the lyrics with the band members on one side. And you have some badass artwork on the opposite side here. Very well done, as to be expected from a label like Iron Lung. And the vinyl came on two different variants, deep blue vinyl, and I have the standard black, 45 RPM. Really awesome quality here. Sounds phenomenal. Definitely worth listening to. So again, the album is Grieving Birth by Internal Rot. This is released on Iron Lung Records, 625 Thrashcore on vinyl, Head Split on tape, and Blast as Fuck on CD. Definitely check this one out. And for a score, I'm going to give this a very solid 8.5 out of 10. Fantastic grindcore from Australia. If you've happened to have heard this album, definitely let me know what you think about it and how you feel about it and how you think it compares to previous Internal Rot releases. Or any of you guys into Internal Rot, definitely let me know. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. Until next time, Army Hill out.